With the NFL season fast approaching, that means fantasy football season is off and running. And depending on who you talk to, San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle, one of the top pass catchers on the board, and tops the list of tight ends, overtaking his friend Travis Kelce on some lists. Kittle caught 65 balls last year for over 1,000 yards. His 15.7 yards per reception was a full 2 yards more than the next closest tight end. He was also recently named one of the NFL's top 30 players over 30 by NFL.com, coming in at number 7. As you take a look at the odds to win the Super Bowl this year, you see the Niners are right there alongside the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs at 6-1. They're the only teams with odds better than 10-1. Beyond that, we have Baltimore at the number, then Detroit at 12-1, Philly at 13-1, and Houston at 15-1. But we want to focus on the Niners, and to help us do that, let's welcome in their aforementioned star tight end, George Kittle. George, happy to have you along with us here on CBS Sports HQ.
Oh, happy to be here, man. Let's talk some football. Let's talk some noodles.
When last we saw you, I want to start with, on a little bit of a down note perhaps. Not the happiest of times for you or Niners Nation in Vegas at the Super Bowl. With the new season just around the corner, how are you feeling? What's your mindset as you and the Niners begin another quest for the Lombardi?
Mindset? Oh, let's get to work. We have a great team still. We lost some, really good players from our roster, but we still have our core group of guys who play a lot of football and play it at a really high level. Brock Purdy's still amazing, and anytime I look across the ball and I see Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, I'm pretty happy with that. So we're really excited for the season. Everyone's back in the locker room tomorrow. I'm excited to see all the guys, but really, just being back playing football again, it's just going to be really fun to be back out there. And anytime Brock Purdy's throwing me footballs, I'm in a really happy mood.
George Kittle with us today on behalf of Cup of Noodle Stir Fry, powering this fantasy football season with delicious Asian noodles. So, George, have to ask you about your teammate Brandon Aiyuk. He's been in the headlines regarding his future with the team as he looks for a new contract. Have you talked to Brandon at all or given him any guidance as to what the future might look like?
I would say I've talked to Brandon a couple times. I do my best to never talk to guys about contract negotiations because just so when I get in situations like this, I have no information to give you guys. But my one piece of advice for him is that contract negotiations are like braces. They really, really stink the entire time that you're going through it. And then the second you get them off, you're like, well, I have a beautiful smile now. And a contract comes with a lot of money and some guarantees that, provide for you and your family for the rest of your life. So just got to get to that point. And while it's not fun, hopefully we get to the part where the braces come off. And I learned that one from Richard Sherman when I was going through my contract negotiations. So, hopefully it gets done sooner than later.
Great analogy, and George, I appreciate you just calling it right out there, trying to get something from me, but appreciate the answer, and certainly a good way to frame it here, and yeah, hopefully something gets done. You and your wife, Claire, are two of the breakout stars of the Netflix series Receiver. I want to ask you, what was that experience like, having cameras around you at work and at home for an entire season?
You know what? It was an interesting experience. I'm happy that I did it. It was really fun. At first I was very against it, and then just having a talk with Claire, I'd actually not watched the quarterback show at all, and then I watched that whole thing, and I was like, all right, this is, it's really fun. They really show the inside look to what it takes to be an NFL football player. And then Claire had a great reasoning of, hey, this is something that we're going to be able to have and look back on in 10 years. You can show your kids, you can show your friends and family. It's just a look back, on that experience of an entire NFL season. And the cameras are on you, the second you get out of a car on game day and they follow you around, you're mic'd up, there's cameras everywhere. After the game, you see your family, the cameras are there. But what I do love about my family is that we're all the exact same, whether there's a camera on us or not. And so you guys got the authentic Kittle experience from us and our friends. And then the cameras at home, it honestly wasn't too bad. They were only at my house a couple times throughout the season. There were some community service events that they showed up to. Honestly, probably the funniest thing was after some games, they'd ride home with me and my wife after a game and just in the car, and I'd be like, let's just say I had a game where I had like 3 catches for 30 yards, and my wife would look at me and she goes, you need to go talk and get the ball more. And I'm like, hey, can we cut that? And that didn't make the show, but she's very outspoken about that stuff, which I really appreciate her because she's been watching me play a lot of football and she likes it when I get the ball thrown to me, which I do. too. But I always tell hey, it's just it's a matter of time, and the football gods always look out for you. So the next day, I'm pretty sure I had like 12 catches, and so I was like, see, it all balances itself out.
Well, it was certainly entertaining to watch and a lot of fun, too. And as you said, fans were given the full Kittle experience. On top of being one of the NFL's top tight ends, I understand you also now have the title of godfather. You and Claire named godparents to Philip and Aaron Forsberg's son, Felix. Philip, of course, plays with the Nashville Predators. How much are you leaning into being a godfather?
It's awesome. I was completely blown away by it. Very excited about it. I went to dinner with them literally last Thursday before I left for the Bay, and they surprised us with that. Their son Felix, and it's actually been really fun just to be, because I've been hanging out with them a lot. So being able to be around Felix and for them to ask us, it's an absolute honor. And they've become really, really good friends of ours. And just the fact that they asked us, it went straight to my heart. I was incredibly happy, just, big hugs all around. And the fact that I get to be, a mildly responsible for a child right now, it's really exciting.
Through the course of the Netflix series, we get to learn 3 things about you. You like sneakers, Lego, and wrestling. Big time into wrestling, which we didn't necessarily need the series to know that. Now, our NFL reporter, Aditi Kinkhabwala, recently interviewed AEW superstar Britt Baker, and she said that she wants to see George Kittle in the ring and to, quote, put his money where his mouth is, end quote. What does George Kittle have to say in response to that?
In response to that? Wow. When I have an opportunity, I'll be there kicking the door in. So I'll see you when I see you.
Somehow you got video of one of my fantasy drafts, seeing me draft a defense in the 2nd round. So I just want to put that.
I've been there too, man. I've been there too. And I didn't know how to draft when I was younger. And I drafted Peyton Manning in the 1st round, the year that he had 55 touchdowns. And then my 2nd pick was an auto draft, and I got a defense that I don't think it was a very good defense.
Well, hopefully it was a good defense. San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. George, thanks for taking the time, and all the best this season. Go Niners.
Yeah, go Niners. Bang, bang.
George Kittle with us today on behalf of Cup of Noodle Stir Fry, powering this fantasy football season with delicious Asian noodles and the Ultimate Draft Experience Sweepstakes, which he told you about. We are excited to have the NFL with us on CBS. The season begins Sunday, September 8th for us. A couple of really good games in the early window. Of course, on CBS and streaming on the go as always via Paramount+.